Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm going to do another movement of the week. I know I said just recently that we were going to take it real simple and move a little bit at a time and do the basics, but I had a request come in to cover the power clean. So we're going to jump ahead a whole bunch and do a power clean today. So a power clean is an Olympic lift. That's where the bar's on the floor and you, in one motion, get the bar all the way up to up here on top of your shoulders. Like I said, it is a very advanced movement and there are a lot of things you have to have figured out before you start working on a power clean. So if you haven't done a deadlift before, see my video on that to give you the basics. If you've never done a front squat before, it's not as important for a power clean as it is for a regular clean, but you definitely want to be comfortable with the front squat position. And I am far from an expert on Olympic lifts. I'm just going to show you the basics. If you want to take this a lot further and get a lot better at Olympic lifts, or if you want to do more than just light Olympic lifting in your garage or at the gym, go find somebody who is a professional Olympic lifting coach. What I'm showing you here is just the tip of the iceberg. You need professional instruction. This exercise can be dangerous if you do it incorrectly, so you want to be very careful. So a few things that you need to keep in mind before you start doing this, aside from being comfortable with a deadlift and a front squat. You're also going to have pretty good flexibility in your ankles and in your shoulders. If your ankle can't flex enough to get into the proper position, then you should look at using something like weightlifting shoes. They have a built-up heel on them. I don't personally like to use anything with a heel just because it modifies the way my body works. But I have a little bit better flexibility than a lot of people, and I'm not going for 1 rep max in competition. So it's not a big deal if I come up a little short sometimes. You're also going to want a barbell that has freewheeling bar ends. This way you don't have to let go of the bar when you rotate your hands over. So the weight should be able to spin and just spin and spin and spin and not stay in place. It's very important for Olympic lifting. If you get really serious about Olympic lifting, they make specialty bars that are just for weightlifting. They have a little bit more flex in them to help you get the weight up off the ground and above your head. Something else, if you're in your home gym or even at a box gym somewhere like a Gold's Gym or something like that, you really want to use bumper plates if they're available. Bumper plates are made out of rubber so that you can drop them. You can just let go and it won't damage the bar or the plates. It will damage the floor over time, so you should be on a lifting platform. But a couple drops here, a couple drops there is not a problem. The other thing that makes bumper plates nice is you will get out of the habit of trying to save a failed rep. You do not want to try and catch a failed rep. Let it go. Well, don't necessarily let it go, but ride the bar all the way to the ground. And don't try and catch it in weird positions. That's how you're going to get hurt. So if you don't make the rep, don't try and hold it. Just control it to the ground. Okay, last precaution. Don't try and be a hero when you start out. Don't be that guy or that girl who goes in there, never done a clean before, throw 45-pound plates on the end of the bar and decide, I'm going to get it. You may get it, but you're not going to get it pretty. And you're going to set up a lot of bad habits that you're going to have to backstep through later on and fix if you really decide you want to start doing more Olympic lifting. Start light. Start with just the bar, or if the bar is too much, go to Home Depot, cut a section of 7-foot PVC, like 1-inch PVC pipe, and practice with that. If something happens, it's 1, cheap, 2, it weighs nothing. So it's not going to cause you any issues. It's a great way to practice, and you can practice anywhere. You can practice in your house. You don't have to worry about punching things out with the ends of the bar. You can practice in the middle of a field. You can practice outside in your backyard. It opens up a lot of possibilities to get better. And you won't have the same kind of bad habits as if you had tried to start too heavy from the get-go. So with that, let's start talking about the power clean. First, we'll talk about the 2 kinds of grips. You have a standard overhand grip, which is just hands closed with the thumbs on top. And then you have a hook grip, which is what most Olympic lifters use as the weight gets heavier. It's much stronger than the standard overhand grip. So this is going to be thumbs under, fingers on top. This can be very uncomfortable. It takes some time to get used to it. Your thumbs have to build up to the pressure and the wear and tear. One option is you can put a couple wraps of tape around your thumb to help with all the rubbing against your thumbs. Okay, as for grip width, you want to hold the bar wide enough so the bar is hitting you about mid-thigh. If your hands are too close together, the bar's going to be too low, and you're not going to get a good drive up when you start to pull the bar up over your head. If your hands are too wide, that's more of a snatch setup, and that's a completely different exercise. For me personally, I go somewhere in between where the knurling starts and where the first mark on the bar is. I'm about 6 feet tall, arms are a little bit shorter than my height, so that works for me. You'll have to play with a little bit and figure it out. As for practicing the exercise, you want to learn cleans from the top down. So you're going to start with the bar in your hands in the proper position with the bar off the ground at the top of the range of motion. And what you're going to do is you're just going to break your hips and get your hips or get the bar just a little bit below the top of the range of motion. And then you're going to finish out the movement by jumping and catching the bar in the high carry position. Do that 10, 15, 20 times. Get a comfortable feel for it. Make sure you're not pulling with your arms. You want to be jumping and the bar should just follow you up. So once you're comfortable with that, then you're going to take it to the next step, which is with the bar just above your knees. And you're going to do the exact same thing. If you're doing like I told you and you're doing just the bar or just the PVC, then you can do this slowly and get a feel for it. If you're doing this with 135 pounds, it's not going to be good at all. You're going to end up just doing some horrible looking reverse bicep curl. It'll be ridiculous. Don't do it. So just above the knees, and then follow the motion up. When that bar gets right to your mid-thigh, then you're going to jump and take it up to your top carry position. Do that 15, 20 times, and then you're going to take it to the next progression, which is bar just below your knees. So just below your knees. And do the same thing 10, 15, 20 times. Get that bar up. When you hit your mid-thigh, then you're going to really explode, and you're going to catch in a high carry position. And the last phase is basically once you're below your knees, you've pretty much got it. You're going to take it so the bar is set mid-shin, and you're going to go through the whole thing again. At that point, you're basically doing a clean. So now that we've covered all that, how is the clean different from the deadlift? Again, if you haven't seen my deadlift video, go back and watch the deadlift video. That'll get you through most of the setup for the clean. They're very similar. The major difference is that you're going to drop your butt a lot lower on a clean. Deadlift is going to have a much higher pelvic position than a clean. And that is simply because the clean is an explosive motion where you're trying to get the bar all the way up to your shoulders, whereas the deadlift is just getting the weight up off the floor. They're similar. They're the same but different. At this point, you can start adding a little bit of weight. Another reason bumper plates are handy here is because once you start getting up to like 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, you're going to have plates that are the same size as the 45-pound plates. If you're just using standard steel plates, then the 10 pounds are small, the 25 pounds are a little bigger, the 35 pounds are a little bigger still, and then the 45 pounds are the standard size. You can do it that way, but it's going to be awkward because you're going to need some blocks to put the bar on, and just do yourself a favor, use the proper equipment if you're going to use these. It's safer, it's easier on your bar, it's easier on your equipment. Now, as you're doing the power clean, you want to try and make sure that your bar is traveling in a straight line. So if you're looking from the side, your bar shouldn't be doing this, or it shouldn't come up and hook over. Now when the weight's really light, you're going to see that the weight's going to hook over because you just weigh enough, and when you try and pull yourself under the bar, you're just going to pull the bar into you. That's That's just because you outweigh the bar at that point. But as the weight gets heavier, that'll be less possible. So when the weight gets really heavy, what you're actually going to be doing is that bar is going to be up here in the air. You're going to go to pull on that bar and rotate your elbows under. And what's going to happen is you're actually going to pull yourself under the bar and catch the bar. When you got a couple 100 pounds moving like this real fast, you're not going to really move it that much this way. So we've covered getting the bar from the floor up to this point. What do you do once the bar is up in the air? All you have to do is rotate your elbows over. So point your elbows towards the ceiling. That's it. Rotating your elbows over will bring your shoulders under the bar, and you're going to catch the bar right across your chest. Be careful that you don't get into it too far, or you could end up jamming the bar right into your throat. If you ever watch the Olympics, when those guys and girls are going for seriously heavy weights, you'll see every once in a while they'll catch the bar right in their throat and actually knock themselves unconscious. It is a dangerous lift. You have to really pay attention to what you're doing, or you can get hurt. So don't try it until you're ready. And then once you're ready, don't rush it. So this is the uber basics of the power clean. Now we've been talking about a power clean. What is the difference between a power clean and a just straight clean? In a power clean, you catch the bar up high. So you pull the bar up, you catch it up here. In a clean, you're going to pull the bar up as high as you can, and then you're actually going to drop underneath the bar and catch it lower. So when you watch the guys going for 1 rep maxes in competition, you'll see that they're catching all the way at the bottom. They're in a complete full squat catching the bar. That's because they're lifting the absolute maximum amount of weight that they can get their body under and catch it. Power cleans are, I don't want to say they're a little safer, because really things can go bad either way, but you're using a lot lower weight on a power clean, so you have a little bit margin of error. All right, and that's the uber basics of the power clean. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and share. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the bottom, or you can come find me at my website, benjaminsmith.com. That's Benjamin with a Y, because why not? And thanks for watching.